Hello and welcome to the eFresh.com Dairy News. My name is Kim and these are this week's headlines. A liter of milk equals 1 kilogram of greenhouse gases. Cattle call needed to limit milk supplies. Rabobank analyzes the Fonterra price cuts. Indian milk intake rises 2.6%. South Asia's dairy industry's top markets. Every liter of milk produced in New Zealand generates nearly 1 kilogram of greenhouse gases, most of them methane from both ends of dairy cows. Fonterra, the world's biggest single exporter of dairy products, collected nearly 14 billion liters of milk from its 11,000 farmer shareholders last year. An 18-month study to measure the carbon footprint of the company's milk found that 940 grams of carbon dioxide, blamed for the global warming, are created in the production of a liter of milk. Most of that is generated on farms, with processing and manufacturing accounting for only 10% of total emissions, and distribution to the 140 countries Fonterra supplies with milk powder, butter, and cheese made from the milk responsible for 5%. The introduction of an EU-funded slaughter scheme for the dairy herd or some other temporary measure to restrict milk supply will have to be considered by the EU Commission. A sharp cut in milk production across the EU was urgently needed to restore balance in the market. The supply of dairy produce was running well ahead of the global demand. The world economy is in such a mess that demand will not improve for some time. A cull scheme has already been introduced in the US, which is expected to remove more than 100,000 cows from the herd during the summer. However, it is feared that the introduction of an export incentive program by the U.S. could put a further 900,000 tons of subsidized product on already depressed world markets. Dairy giant Fonterra has further cut the price it's paying for milk in New Zealand, and it's an ominous sign for local producers. The opening milk price to be paid to Kiwi farmers is about 12% lower. A Rabobank dairy analyst says the weak global market and new U.S. export subsidies are behind the drop. According to him, this is a first signal for Oceania in general of what milk pricing is going to look like for the coming season, and does reflect some factors that have been in the market for a while, and some that have risen in recent weeks. Earlier, a Rabobank confidence survey found that overriding message coming from dairy farmers was one of anticipated volatility. The annual consumption of milk in India has increased by 2.6% to around 51,500 liters in 2008. In 2008, milk consumption in India was up more than 2.6% from 2007 to nearly 51.5 billion liters. Milk consumption has been growing at an average 2.7% in the last 4 years, with packed milk segment reporting a growth rate of 4.7% a year. India, being the largest producer and consumer of milk, needs contemporary technologies to ensure unadulterated milk with a long shelf life and nutrient content intact. Emerging markets like India, Pakistan, the Middle East, and China accounted for 95.8% of the global dairy industry in the last 4 years. Countries like India, Pakistan, China, and the Middle East nations have been identified as the leading markets in the global dairy industry. This is based on their growing population, rising income, new dietary trends, and increased awareness on the availability of dairy products. Consumption of liquid dairy products in China has grown by a compounded annual growth rate of 13.4% between 2005 and 2008, reaching a record high of 27 billion liters in 2008. Tetra Pak Dairy Index, a biannual news and information source about the dairy industry, forecasts worldwide dairy consumption to grow at a rate of 2.2% until 2012. Thank you for watching the eFresh.com Dairy News. See you next time.